What is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today as we are rolling home from work today. Finally off. Damn good time. This weekend's going to be the upcoming Royal Rumble, and I can honestly say that I'm really excited to see what happens, to see what they're going to do to shape up this road to WrestleMania. Hopefully it's going to be as big as a lot of people hope. A lot of names being thrown out there, like Hall of Famers The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Well, The Rock isn't in the WWE Hall of Fame yet. That's kind of a sticky situation, but someday you got to say. Normally by now, this time of year, we got a lot of people named for the Hall of Fame. You kind of had to do one each and every week on the road to WrestleMania to get us ready, and they kind of give you like the main eventer first, and then they work their way down to the card. The only year I can kind of think that they didn't kind of use that was WrestleMania 31. They named Macho Man first, and then they ended up naming Kevin Nash last. And then they kind of treated Nash like he was the main eventer because of the fact that they didn't want to, harp on the fact that the Macho Man had passed away, and he actually wasn't going to be the one that was going to be accepting the plaque. I think about the Hall of Fame each and every year. I think they're going to start putting less and less people in there. I don't think they're going to quite turn to like the Baseball Hall of Fame, where all of a sudden one year they just don't put anybody in. I think it is a pretty cool event. I think that, if you go to WrestleMania, definitely if it's like your first one, I would go out of your way just to go to the Hall of Fame. To me, honestly, I think I went to a one too many. And especially with them just being uploaded live right onto the WWE Network, I think it's something that, if you've seen it, if you've done it, unless it's like one of your favorite guys going in, I think that honestly you can miss it. But I mean, like if they're gonna put The Rock in there, or like when they put The Undertaker in there, definitely there's a special feeling of being in the room when something like that happens, and you're able to say that you saw a guy wrestle his entire career and you were there for his Hall of Fame induction. I get it, but I think that the way that you save that each and every year is you have to sort of scale down on it. Maybe you pick 4 names to go into the Hall of Fame each and every year. With AEW running, although they don't really harp on the older names in wrestling, I think that there's got to come to a point that, they're going to want to put a guy into the Hall of Fame and they think he's worthy of it, but he might be doing something for Impact, or he might be doing something for AEW. And next thing you know, you got the $1 Million Man headlining the WrestleMania 26 class because you're not able to talk the Ultimate Warrior to coming in, and you kind of put all your eggs in one basket and said, like, this is what we're going to get. And then when it comes down to it, you don't get it. But the one guy that's already been named to go into the WWE Hall of Fame that we have not seen yet is Batista. Batista was supposed to be the headliner of the WrestleMania 36 class. The WrestleMania ended up not happening, and they spilled a lot of the names over until WrestleMania 37, and they kind of did like a giant Hall of Fame ceremony inside the Thunderdome. We saw the Bella Twins, Eric Bischoff, the NWO, who else was in there? But no Batista. Batista wasn't there. I had heard that Batista said he turned down doing the Thunderdome because he wanted to do his induction speech in front of fans. He wanted to just kind of get that feeling, which is kind of cool for him to give back to the company and to the fans that made him the star that he is today. He has a new movie that's either coming out or is coming out soon. It's an M. Night Shyamalan whatever, the weird movie director that kind of makes the movies with the weird twists, or you watch the whole thing all the way down to the end and you're like, well, what happened? Like, I don't really get it. It was cool, but you know, he wouldn't be able to, you know, take parts in James Bond movies or join up with the Marvel franchise or anything like that if he wasn't a star that was created inside WWE. Batista was one of the really big 2002 rookies. He had a class of him, John Cena, Shelton Benjamin, and Brock Lesnar, that all did OVW together, and then all joined the main roster pretty much at the main time. Batista was given a bad bag, a fact that, you know, he got a gimmick of joining Brother Devon, and a gimmick that probably could have killed his career. How many guys have you seen come in and just not get the right feel right off the bat, and next thing you know, they got so much stink on them, they ended up just getting let go, and then you just never see him again. You know, he was kind of the muscle for Pastor Devon. He was out there passing the basket, getting the money and stuff like that, and luckily that didn't last that long, because at Survivor Series, the Dudleys reunite, and they just put them back together, and they're like, he wasn't working, so now this works. Batista kind of, you know, gets repackaged as just Batista as a wrestling ass kicker. He's going out there and he's doing big things, and roughly, you know, that next year, pretty fresh off the bat, when Triple H is needing help with Scott Steiner, he gets put into a group with him, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, and Triple H. You've got the past, the current, and two superstars to hopefully, you know, be the future. A lot of people have heard the story that it wasn't supposed to be Batista. It was actually supposed to be Mark Jindrak. You know, the guy's had a long career. He's still wrestling in Mexico, so I don't think it would have been the biggest ultimate whiff of all time. But Batista doesn't get that push. Who knows if we ever see it? You know, he wins the tag titles with Flair. He has a really good storyline where he wins the Royal Rumble, and then is kind of pushed because the leader of his group, Triple H, is the champion at the time. You know, he's trying to tell him to go after the other belt, and Batista, who'd been kind of pushed around and hearing things in the locker room, like Triple H kind of running him down, that, you know, he wants to go after Triple H. WrestleMania 21, big WrestleMania, honestly. Really good Triple H versus Angle. Really good Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels match. You've got the first Money in the Bank. I'm trying to remember what was the World Heavyweight Championship match for SmackDown that year, but ends up headlining the main event, Triple H versus Batista. I believe they have 2 matches on pay-per-view before coming together at Vengeance for a Hell in a Cell match. That is kind of around the time they kind of scaled back the Hell in a Cell from being as gruesome, but it's still a really good Hell in a Cell, with definitely, you know, Triple H getting blood and stuff like that. But you know, it's not as good as the few that come before it. But Batista, one hell of a run. It's impossible to keep going with his career from there, but being built up to a WrestleMania main eventer. And then around WrestleMania 26, I don't really know what led to him leaving wrestling, but honestly, it definitely sucked. He didn't get right into acting, but he has a run with the WWE Championship. He gets beat by John Cena at WrestleMania 26, and then he quits after the I Quit match, when Bret Hart basically says that, you know, he got beat fair and square, even though that's the match that Cena uses the duct tape around the corner. And he not only quits the match, but he quits the company on Monday Night Raw the next night. And he's gone. He comes back to be the build-up for WrestleMania 30. He ends up like kind of being handpicked by Vince as the guy who's going to main event WrestleMania. He's going to have a big match against Randy Orton. Comes back, he wins the Rumble. It's not really a surprise. Then he has like a little mini feud with Alberto Del Rio before his match, but he just got there at the wrong time because the WWE Universe was already in love with the one guy that they wanted to see be a bigger deal in WWE than he was. That would be Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan ends up getting so over that they take him out of the match that he's supposed to be in at WrestleMania, which is probably going to be him versus Bray Wyatt, and they end up making it a three-way. Bryan has to have a match against Triple H to make that match even bigger. Also a stipulation on that match, if Triple H wins the match, he gets to go, and it's like an all-evolution three-way main event if that happens. That's a dream in a different dimension that I wish that I would have saw. But you know, we see you know, him come back. He doesn't win the championship. He doesn't really get the run that he thought he was. I don't know if that's what he was hoping was going to be his goodbye to wrestling. But they ended up doing a program with Evolution against the Shield, and he leaves. And WWE openly mocks him for leaving because he's going. They've already filmed the movie, but he's going to do the press for his movie coming out, and it ends up launching his movie career huge as Drax. And for some reason, you know, even after them, you know, taking a shot at him on his way out the door for leaving, for these dreams of going to Hollywood and being an actor and quitting Evolution, you know, he still says he wants to come back, whether that's, you know, for his own personal thing to have his goodbye match be against Triple H, if that's to thank the company for making him a star, if it's to thank the fans that he made along the way for making him the star that he is. He comes back again. He has a big match at WrestleMania 35. In my opinion, the build-up for the match could have been a little bit bigger. It basically had an Evolution reunion, which turns into a pissing match between Triple H and Batista. Batista comes back and he beats up Ric Flair one night, and that ends up, you know, give me what I want. And we get the match for WrestleMania that Triple H doesn't want to have, and it's a good match. I could have done without the whole nose ring thing with Triple H taking the pliers and ripping Batista's nose ring out. That's a spot for you that you probably won't see at another WrestleMania. But you know, him to come back and do WrestleMania, I'm hoping that we get to see it this year because it was announced. They made the video, they played the video, everybody got to send their feelers out and appreciate them, but just, I guess it's just a matter of when the schedule is going to make sense and he can come do it. Hopefully it'll be this year at WrestleMania because we haven't seen it yet, and I think he'd be a damn good main eventer for WrestleMania's Hall of Fame class of 39, 2023.